Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? Talking shit Tuesday. That's right. The show that kind of got the whole, let's be honest, the car podcast stuff started. I mean, I never even thought about that. Was anyone like hardcore talking car stuff before me? Maybe they were, but not at this capacity, not at this frequency, and not at this level. Let's be honest. That's a great question. I haven't even thought about that. Like, did the car podcast thing get started by me? I can't imagine, but I think in terms of the way I do it, I'm the innovator. So today what we're going to talk about is America's dependence and the, let's just say, industry's dependence on cheap labor. I was watching Fox News because I'm old, and one Ford executive came on and actually said something that really affirmed what I thought happened when it comes to supply, demand, and what you charge depending on what state that part is in your inventory. I'll play the clip just to kind of preface my thought process, but basically what's happening is now that the tariffs are taking place and the United States has taken away a lot of the pass-throughs of companies from China to take advantage of, to get around tariffs. For example, if China gets a tariff placed on them, they would ship parts to Brazil, right? And then you buy Brazilian parts, but they're sourced in China if Brazil, let's just say, for example, did not have a tariff on it. So the pass-throughs are gone, all the roads have been blocked off, and now you effectively have the United States saying, we're done getting fucked with, we're done getting bullied, we're done getting screwed because we were basically a welfare system for everybody else's manufacturing to come here on the cheap side because we are addicted to cheap parts and cheap goods. So I've also noticed certain parts companies, parts manufacturers that rely on parts made outside of the US really starting to make some waves and let it be known that, hey, unless something happens pretty soon, my business is in jeopardy of potentially being, collapsing and having an issue. So we're talking about that. We're going to talk about that at length as to what this tariff situation, which people are now negotiating. You understand? Like this is 2 or 3 days in. Give it a week or two, and all of a sudden you're going to see all these people come to the table and say, "Oh, we're sorry. We want to go ahead and do business with the United States." We'll talk about that and many more things, but I want to make sure all my ducks are in a row when it comes to doing that. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
It does suck. But you know what does not suck? D&H Performance. Let's start there. D&H Performance. D&Hperformance.com. You're going to get all your parts at D&Hperformance.com. Everything. Hopefully they source everything in the USA. And if they don't, well, they're going to pay more money. That's just how it is. Hopefully they have enough in their warehouse to have the supply to not raise prices. We'll talk about that. D&H Performance, YWT at checkout. Tell them you're an Army member. You're going to get a discount. Peanuts, again, Peanuts. Everything is made in the USA at Peanuts. If it's not, I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to have a problem with it. Peanuts, they came. Peanuts, best cold air system on the planet. Made in the USA. I hope. Get it. Car's going to run great. Part Farm, everything fucked up that was made in the USA is now at Part Farm. Wheels, tires, crank pallets, motors, complete engine packages, everything. Panels, windows, tires, wheels, mufflers. USA Goods. Crashed. USA Goods. SparkFarm.com. Throttle Solution. I'm not sure if the tariffs affect him. He is in Puerto Rico. I wonder how the tariff situation works in Puerto Rico, but I think it's the USA, so it doesn't matter. Remington on Total Solution, the best late model shop in Puerto Rico. Belak Industries, all the wheels are made in Miami. Everything is made in Miami. Has his own little fucking shop in Miami. USA made parts, everything. He sources his, I think, steel from the US, I hope. If not, drug dealers are going to have some shitty wheels going on pretty soon. And as always, richprince.com, richprince.com. I talked to richprince.com and I said, hey, this is an email I sent him. I don't want the fan base and potential customers to have a price being raised up because maybe you source these shirts and hoodies outside of the US. So I am willing to take less of a cut if not no cut, so that you do not see a price increase. You know what he said? You know what this motherfucker said? I ain't raising prices, and neither are our suppliers. We're Gucci. He said, we're Gucci. So shout out to richprince.com, richprince.com/YDBT. Get all your stuff there. Prices ain't going up. No one is raising prices there. And also, if you want to become a Patreon member and talk to me on a one-on-one basis about your wife, like, it's become like a personal, you pay me to just talk anything but car page. But we got a bunch of chats there. Get to know like-minded people. It is the Amory Hub, the, what do you call it? The gathering point for all the thoughts and processes of the show. And today I have a poll. Do we give away a 1320 DDO shirt or an 11 to 14 iBox Pro kit, brand new suspension that I am not gonna install on Donnie because it drives so good on the stock stuff? Dang it! I thought I put the live chat here to make it pop up so you guys can see your cute little name pop up on the deal. Joe Swish, El Verga Larga, Nick Money, Voidy, Mark Richardson, Robos Abiloves, Frank Donahue, El Verga Larga, Z33, Camzilla, Anthony, T.J. Sikorsky, Deucedown, D-Rock Fox, I'm Hunter Low, Valley Tensby, Martin, Coyote Fury, T. Sikorsky, Matt Oliver, Gallo Bravo, Bo Wacky Racing? The fuck is happening there? Bo Wacky Racing, never heard of that. CJM, Joe Jackson, John Bonanno, Corey Grayley, the newest addition to Lund Racing. Shout out to you. Still has my wheels on the red car. Might want to buy them back. Moss and Dennis, Dixon, Rays, Bill, John Bailey, Toxic 03, Clint Stroke, EPA, Craig Walls, Billet, Noonan. We should get Noonan to fuck with Coyote stuff because there is now an issue getting blocks. Talk about all that stuff. Don't worry. Matt Oliver, Tyler Roy, Brian, Nathan, Nardi Mercado, Blue Thunder. Nardi Mercado is the menace, bro. He goes after everybody. Cobra 461, Slow 2 Valve, Click Pop the Horse. The dating channel, Kyle Loftus, says, God, I'm so hard right now. That dating channel, Kyle Loftus. Oh, well, he can have that fucking name. Anthony Rafferty, Alfredo Diaz, Big Meech, Eggs on Devil Dog, Rizzy, Rizzy of FCam Rizzy lore. Shit. Killshot, Bondabird, Oscar Hernandez, Alfredo Diaz, YouTube Carbon, Free Speech, and Telebo 661 Racing, Mr. Bloodshot himself, Corey L, Oscar Hernandez, Pito, Chiquito, Brock LY, Alfredo Diaz, Joshua Dunn, SVT Mile an Hour, Mr. GT500 himself, Toby Cockring, that guy Walker, Alfredo Diaz, 1320 Didio says, like the video of 1320 Toilet Dumper, puts the same dot on every single video. Every single video, Toilet Dumper just puts a dot. Love that guy. Alexi Gomez, Blue Thunder, Cody Lewis, Joe Swish, Slick Vic, D-Rock Fox, Justin Hines says, tuition fees for answering all my questions in the ticket system. You got it, Merc, and all the usual suspects. He's got the Patreon links, Bryson Witt in the house, Ivan D, Dakota, Matthew, and Slow 3 Valve. Listen to this quick little blurb here that a Ford representative talking to Brian Kilmeade of Fox News, it kind of blew my mind, some of the shit that they were saying about supply and demand when it comes to what Ford is doing and how Ford can be affected with the tariffs that the Trump administration has put on everybody.
Found out is that even though you're the most American-made car, we don't make everything that goes into that car. I mean, for example, leather seats. The best leather, we don't really do much for leather seats in mass production here in this country. You got to go elsewhere. Have you been able to explain that to the White House? You could have the best intentions, but you just don't have the material and the manufacturing here yet, and you don't want to be penalized.
Absolutely. And the White House gets that. And that's why yesterday the new tariffs on companies generally don't apply to automobile manufacturers in particular. We have our own set of tariffs, of course, that was announced about a week ago. And you're absolutely right. There's a global system for supplying car parts, and as a major manufacturer, we're part of that.
So, Steve, what country, it's just boxing Ford and GM and Chrysler out, that you want to get access to? Maybe you could give us what it's like. You know, certain countries love, I mean, I don't really see many Ford F-150s in Germany, right?
Yeah. Well, we sell around the world, but in most of those other major markets, we have manufacturing in local markets or in local regions. Our Ranger truck is super popular globally. We make that in 5 different locations around the world. We're going to keep.
So if you have to get a part from another country and there's a tariff on that part, how can you not charge more for your car? Don't you have to charge more for the car? Because your margins on an average car sale are not great.
Look, we are a small margin industry. There's no question about that. And sooner or later, yeah, these prices are going to work their way through the system. But it's not a switch. So we don't have to charge more on cars today. Like I say, we have a pretty good stock, and it's that savings that we're going to pass on. But
that is what I wanted to hone in on, because that is one of those things that I appreciate that he admitted. So let's talk about price increases affecting somebody immediately. So let's say, for instance, you live and die by the sword. Let's say you have a limited supply or no warehouse. You have no inventory, okay? You're a drop shipper, which is a lot of parts companies. You have instant price increases, correct? Because you are buying the part at that now affected price. So let's say, for example, you do not have a warehouse and you say, oh shit, ID 1050, not ID 1050, something out of the country. Let's say, I don't know, 2M headers. So let's say you, for whatever reason, push 2M headers that don't have rear O2s, and you were selling them for $1,000. And then tariffs hit, and all of a sudden you say, hey, I gotta sell these for $1,200 because there's the 20%, 30%, or whatever tariff it is, $1,300, $1,400. Now that means that you are directly dumping that price on the customer. But what the Ford executive or representative there said, something funny. He said, well, no, it's not like a switch. It's got to work its way through the system, meaning they have huge inventory. The cars that are on dealer lots right now are not tariff effective, and they should not be, because when they were built, the parts were sourced at those prices, and then those prices literally end up, that car based on how it was built and how much it cost Ford to make it at that moment and how much the dealer needs to make, it's that price. But if the dealer becomes an asshole, it's like, well, I could fuck with tariff, I want to gouge people, those prices would go up. But I appreciate his honesty. I honestly want to give a shout out to that executive slash spokesperson, because he says, no, we have enough inventory in our system that the tariff situation has not worked its way to cars on the lots yet. So if you have inventory and you think you're going to be affected by the prices ASAP, usually that tariff money gets trickled down once inventory reaches, let's say 2 months, 3 months, whatever you feel is enough to recoup the cost of the tariff. You're like, okay, now we got to start charging tariffs. Not on the cars that have been on the lot for a year or 6 months. Those cars are not tariff prone. Now let's talk about oil prices. One of the weirdest things I've ever thought about, and it hit me like ASAP. It hit me one time. I was pumping gas, and I was looking at the pump price. The big billboard in the front of the gas station, and the price went up right before my eyes, and I went, huh? So how much did they pay for the oil in the tanks? So the oil in because they get deliveries probably every day or every other day. So that's different. So I said, wait a minute. Let's say I'm a racetrack owner or a Shell owner and say, okay, oil right now is at this much per barrel. And I can buy, my next delivery is going to be, let's just put a round number, $100. So now the fuel that's in my tanks at my station are $100. Then somebody announces tariffs. The market freaks the fuck out. Oil prices fluctuate. Then they go up $10. You then click a couple of buttons to raise the prices on the pumps because your next batch, right? Your next batch is going to be that expensive. But what's in the tank right now that I'm pumping is the old price. So maybe because they have such a short supply and they get replenished often, maybe they can justify doing those games. But not auto manufacturers and typically not parts companies. Unless you live by the sword, meaning you drop ship, the only way you were making money is by packaging things together to get away from MAP policy, minimum advertised pricing, right? You guys know what MAP policy is. So let's say, for instance, I have a part and the minimum advertised price I said you could put online was $10. But let's say you bundle that part with other parts, let's say parts that have to do with that part, let's say like fuel injectors, fuel system, and a blower. And then you're like, well, I have this much margin put into all of these three, but I can actually, undercut everybody because I drop ship everything and be able to sell this for a lot cheaper. But then tariffs hit, and all of a sudden your price immediately goes up. And it signals to me that you have no warehouse, you have no supply. So power by the hour is a great example. I asked him, how is the tariffs going to affect you? He goes, I'm not. I make everything in the US. All my bracket kits are made in the US. All my drive systems are made in the US. I only source stuff from Ford, like harnesses and stuff, and those prices adjust. But in terms of like what I have control over, tariffs don't affect me at all. And I have a warehouse. All these parts. So these parts are not going to go up in price. I go, well, what happens if the market, let's say for instance, your supplier goes up in price? By how long do you have before it trickles down to the customer? Let's say he goes, well, probably a month or two. I go, okay, so you wouldn't raise prices until it affects you. He goes, yeah. And I went, holy shit, an honest person. So the way that Ford said that and admitted that kind of opened my eyes how a lot of people operate and how a lot of people think other people operate. If you have the supply and it's not affecting you and it's not something you have to replenish every day, then it typically does not affect you. Now, if you are a parts company that you are rah USA, you celebrate July 4th and you plaster it all over your website, and you live, again, you are a USA motherfucker, then all of a sudden tariffs hit and you start tripping, I'm going to start going, okay, so you live by the sword, you die by the sword, meaning you live, because America is addicted to cheap shit. Just go to any Harbor Freight on a Saturday morning. Okay, it's packed. It's packed with dudes looking for cheap tools. Hey, guilty. One-time use tools. But my good tools are they're expensive. The shit that I use all the time, they're not cheap. The stuff that I use once or twice, cheap shit, replaceable, I don't care. But I don't have a business that relies on the cheap tools that I buy. But it is an interesting thing to see manufacturers and parts company. You've seen it. You're on Facebook. You're on Instagram. You're on all these things. You're on the same page as I am. You see people tripping balls because of the tariffs. And then I go, well, maybe you should change your business model to be more USA oriented, because a lot of people are getting stuff from outside of the US. And people say, I'm not getting stuff from China. No, but you're getting some Chinese stuff through pass-throughs. Through countries that do not have a tariff situation. China ships to those countries and they sell you Chinese goods through those countries as a pass-through. So it is interesting to kind of see everyone have a bit of a freak out. Have you seen parts companies start to freak out about the tariff situation and you start wondering, I thought these people were all USA, rah, all this shit. And all of a sudden they start tripping balls because there might be a potential disruption in their services and their output because of the tariffs. I've always thought if you're a USA motherfucker and you build your shit here, you shouldn't have any issues. But it is interesting to see a lot of people in our industry trip balls. Now, that has also caused Ford to potentially delay getting parts that you thought were readily available. Blocks, cylinder heads, camshafts, timing sets. Go ahead and find yourself a set of Gen 1 timing set. Like Gen 1 timing set. Gen 2 timing set. You know, the phaser, chain, guides, all that stuff. Crank sprocket, that little kit that's like $500. Go ahead and find out how much of a back order there is on that. And you wonder, wait a minute, why? Why is there such a back order? Does Ford source it from other places that could make it difficult for them to get it and then sell it at that price? So they just place it on a national back order until things are more calm, markets are more stable, and then they fill the order when it is less hurtful or profitable to fill the order. I've always thought that was a interesting way of doing things. We'll talk about it, and we'll also do the giveaway at 9 p.m. It'll be Star Trek trivia as always. So polish up Star Trek The Next Generation trivia. I already got the question and answer in my head. Chuck Stern says, going from the discounted employee pricing to the new increased prices from tariffs is going to be a hell of a sticker shock. Jesus Muchacho says, I come to find out today that Tesla's not 100% American and certain models export 20 to 30%. 661 Racing, why is everyone saying Whipple? Am I missing something? Oh, are you missing something, Papa? It's an inside joke. We kid, but another thing I've started noticing is the chicken's coming home to roost. I'm not a member of any car group on Facebook. No S550 page, no S650 page, no Fox Body page, no nothing. But I get screenshots sent to me and they're like, Alex, check this out. I go, what? Some guy is running E30, went to the track, and he got misfire codes. And I'm like, oh, really? Did the Ringlands exit the chat? Who told them to put E30 in it? One of the more irresponsible things I have ever seen in my small tuning life is people you thought that knew shit telling you 16 to 17 PSI on E30 and 55-pound injectors is okay. I'm mind blown. I'm absolutely mind blown that people are out there, and there's receipts. Guys, if you find anyone that you thought was credible, talking that shit, saying, yeah, E30's fine, we've seen these gains, no big deal, just get a fuel system, a drop-in hat, raise the pressure to 90 PSI, eventually that injector's gonna be wide open, and eventually it won't pulse, it'll just whoosh, and then it won't have enough fuel because the demand is too high and the injector is too small, or the rail is too small. It's gonna be really interesting in 2 years when these dumb sons of bitches that buy S650s with Whipple kits or other boosted situations, if they do come out, have cars go up for sale because they're hurt, warranty claims left and right, crank starts snapping off the bit. You will see, guys, chickens are going to come home and roost because I haven't been wrong yet. Snap-on wrench cost me $220. Sad part is some of the tools are last longer than higher end stuff in my experience. Everyone thought that cars were expensive. Now just wait until the tariffs really hit. BMWs, another 20 to 30%. You want a BMW? 20 to 30%. You don't want a BMW because you're going to be forced to buy American? You got to buy used American. There is nobody that was looking at a BMW M2, M4, M3 and say, well, it's too expensive now because of the tariffs. Let me buy a Mustang. Let me buy a Charger. Said no, motherfucker. Let me buy a Cadillac CT, Blackwing, whatever. Said nobody. The American car product right now, in terms of the sports car market, is butt cheeks. Right now, there is a 370Z, I think it's called. Or is it called 350? I don't know. The Z. That is tunable and available now. The Supra. Tunable, available now. M2. 3, 4, tunable, available now. Mustang, tunable by one company that literally tells you E30, 16 PSI on 55s is absolutely fine. Have fun. Absolutely mind blown. Harbor Freight tools are goated. To be honest, the Icon is sub-brand is pretty much Snap-on quality. All my swivel sockets are Icon LT warranties too. I learned that about expensive tools versus Harbor Freight when it comes to using an actual 3/8 impact regularly. Chicago units kept dying. Milwaukee units still going strong later. I would never buy a power tool and rely on it at Harbor Freight. Power tools, all high quality. I like Milwaukee, and some of you guys might not, but I like Milwaukee stuff. I've used it as a millwright. I've used it as a backyard mechanic. All my Milwaukee shit is legit. My favorite part about that is that we gave China double super discount to get them out of the third world status, but now they're doing well, and then they want the same deal. Was that VMP fuel system made here in the States? That's the other thing you're going to have to figure out. A lot of these companies outsource chips. Let's say, again, made in the USA means made in the USA. So if you're going to sell an electric product, electrical or anything, booster pump, this and this and that, you're going to be like, is this actually made here, right? All you have to do is look at the prices. Look at the prices 3 months ago. Look at the prices now or in a week from now. And you're going to go, okay, this isn't USA made. And that's going to be easy to figure out and vet. So when someone is pushing a product, a fuel system or whatever, that's why I tell you guys 4 Innovations, but I know 4 Innovations have had shipment and delivery issues. And I don't know why. I heard they moved buildings. So maybe that's why the supply is a little delayed. But I think all of their stuff is made here. Phases were backordered for months prior to all of this. Yeah, that was an interesting thing, but why? The Trump administration came in talking about tariffs. Trump talked about tariffs in fucking summer. He got voted in November, okay? And then all of a sudden people paused. People hit the pause button to see what he was going to do. Waiting for the next third Holly email. Just kidding. Map increases are back on. Harbor Freight hand tools, name brand power tools, same way to go. Ingersoll, ideally. I've been waiting since November for that timing kit, says ESS boss. Phases were impossible before COVID. I actually got mine from Jake, and I got them within like 2 weeks. So I don't know maybe he had stock. He stocks this shit. So you're going to start seeing places that don't stock stuff. For example, let's say, Jacob Power by the Hour has to have all this stuff in stock. He makes, not exclusively, but he sells a lot of swap parts. So he has to have shit in stock. He loves having shit in stock to fill orders. So Jake makes huge stocking orders. And Jake now bought a building that is massive. And you have tons and tons of warehouse space in those buildings. So he can fill orders others can't. You look all over the US and you don't see it. Hit up Power by the Hour. Chances are if it's a Ford OEM part, he probably has it in stock. Ripple, exactly. I saw that on Facebook. Hell yeah, I haven't caught it live in so long, says SoCal Bronco. Just make it E40, dumb. Misfire codes. Who's tuning those Whipple Mustang lifestyle? Look, on the S650 front, I told you so, man. And you didn't want to listen to me. Alex is just a hater. Alex doesn't know what he's talking about. I've personally owned a car with LU47s, and I boosted it to about 14 PSI when I started noticing issues. So I can go in the tune and jack up the fuel pump voltage table. I can jack up a bunch of stuff to mask a fuel supply issue. So I thought to myself, high flow 55s aren't going to be that much better. And in conjunction with a less dense fuel, E30, you're going to see issues. Because if you have E30 in the joint, and all of a sudden you let's say you were on the cusp of having pump gas, like Sunoco 260 GT. I did all my tests with a 14.7, I think, or 14.0 stoic fuel. Now imagine I do that on a 13.5 stoic fuel or something slightly lower, which is less dense. Your fuel system's going to work harder. So does that mean that every tune is sent out with a jacked up fuel pump voltage table, jacked up pressures from the get, just in case you do boost it to death and have E30 tunes? That's not good for anything, longevity of the pump, anything. So all these people were just happy that they thought they can just copy paste a tune, Whipple, and say, here you go, we're going to go 8s. I'm like, well, you're now allowing the customer to manipulate the ethanol content. I have seen screenshots of idiots going, well, if E30 is good, why not E85? And people go, well, make sure you get a booster pump. How is a booster pump going to supply enough fuel to change the stoic? I'm blown away that people that own Mustangs generally don't know shit about Mustangs. Do you know how many times I've seen this week? It's only Tuesday. People put a breather on the driver's side and recirculate the air on the passenger side. And then I go, recirc both or vent both, relog. Boom, fuel trims are back on when they were lean like 20%. So I'm like, okay, these people don't know anything. These people don't know a goddamn thing. They're watching something on Facebook and they're going, okay. So because I started to kind of like pay attention again, I go, look at all these parts companies scrambling, saying weird shit. Like, oh my God, shit's going to go bad. I usually source all of my shit with stuff outside of the US. This is a problem. Tariffs have been gone I've been going for 2 days. 2 fucking days. You can't survive tariff hikes. Your business model's fucked. The Harbor Freight is a great cheap place to pick up some oversized wrenches. Like 2-inch wrenches. People finance yearly salary at BMW at 25%. I don't think $2,000 to $5,000 is going to be a deal breaker. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how much will make people balk at stuff. Look, people that are looking at BMWs generally can't afford a BMW. They can afford the payment, not the car. They can't afford the car. They can't slap down $70,000. They're like, I can afford $1,000 a month. And then the dealer goes, well, your credit score is 500, so it's really like $1,300 a month because of your interest rate. and you're going to slap in tax title. Like, I can't believe there are cars that are upside down like 130% or 200%. Unbelievable. He's talked tariffs since 80s, 90s. Yes, that's the thing. But I'm saying in terms of policy, when he was in power, Gray Mustang, Trump was talking about tariffs when he was running. And then he gets elected and starts imposing tariffs on people, and people are Pikachu faced because of it. He talked about it. He said he was going to do it the whole time. Head Games Motorworks, by the way, gimme head. Go, gimme head is the discount code for all the Army members. If you want to get work done at Head Games Motorworks, gimme head, one word. Let me see. Congress blocked him from putting tariffs on Canada. No, no, they didn't. Canada came to the table. Canada came to the table. Remember when the parts companies were blaming COVID for delays 3 years after COVID was a thing? Very good. So I'm noticing that on the Mustang front, and again, I don't know anything about Dodge, guys. If you're in the Hellcat, I got to make sure I do Hellcat world. I don't know how the parts companies run. The BMW world, I have no idea. BMW can get an honorary alarm, a fire alarm beep, because the brothers are gravitating to the BMWs. And I've on the Mustang front, you could tell, or just racing, a lot of these companies live and die by stuff they get from overseas. So it's a good thing, because now I know, again, not everything made in the USA is great. Let's be honest. Most of the stuff made in the USA sucks because it's made by lazy people. But now that they're forcing manufacturing to come back, I think quality is going to have to go up, and there's going to be a bit of a, resurgence of that stuff. Not a lot, not like the 60s or 70s, but I'm sure you're going to see a lot more manufacturing come back to the US. Again, did you watch the movie Gung Ho? Yes or no? I watched it. I watched it as a homework assignment to get me up to snuff on what could happen when USA gets back going in terms of manufacturing. And this movie was made in the 80s. And in the 80s, they depicted Americans as lazy. We can't do 15,000 cars in a month. We'll do 13,000. You negotiated a raise for 13,000, right? Michael Key was like, yeah, he lied. He goes, yeah. When he said, no, the only way they would get a raise is if they would actually make 15,000 units. And then they never made it to 15,000. But the guy had a soft spot in his heart for the effort and gave them the raise anyway. But even in the 80s, they were depicting Americans as being lazy, and that's why the manufacturing went away. And I thought, that is interesting. Even 40 years ago, there was a sentiment of Americans being lazy and less quality. So is bringing back manufacturing to the USA gonna make that better or worse? Interesting. Imagine if Jake sold swap parts for Democrats. Price gouging happened in COVID. Before that happens, I paid $105 for my work boots. Then COVID hit, they went up to $250, probably with old inventory they had. Again, it kind of blows my mind. Let's say I bought everything on my shelf for $100. My margin, I sell it for $125, and then prices go up. I haven't made a new stocking order yet, and then I go, oh well, let me just bring it up to $200 and blame that just so I can make more money. Illegal? No. Unethical? Yes. But it is interesting because it is illegal to price gouge under like an emergency, like a winter storm or a hurricane or a tornado, right? You see gas prices go up to $9 when it's the only gas station that has power. That's illegal. You can actually call somebody, I don't know, Better Business Bureau or I don't know who, and say, look, they're charging $9 a gallon under an emergency, under a snowstorm, under a hurricane or tornado situation, or water. Same thing with water. Like they overcharge for water because they're the only shop that's open. So there isn't that kind of protection generally, unless it's like crazy circumstances, but no one's really going to trip if somebody charges more money for a set of injectors or cylinder heads or pistons or whatever. Timing kits are all available as individual parts, but the price almost triples versus what the old kits cost. The base isn't bad by any means. I don't know what he's talking about. I ended up looking out finding a Gen 1 timing kit in stock form if I had a Ford warehouse. Pretty sure I got one of the last on the shelves. People are now cannibalizing old shit just to have parts. Look, if I came across 3 or 4 Coyote motors, I would keep them just to have parts supply, just to have a phaser, follower, lifter, rocker. I'm like, I have it. And the people that had that stuff can ask a pretty penny if Ford has a dwindling supply of supply. I think I watched Gung Ho a little too much. A dwindling supply of those things. Here's the link. It'll be $500. Do you know how much it's going to cost? Where can I pay, motherfucker? Didn't you read what I just said at JT? Okay. I'm glad the tariff shit isn't going on. Is going on. I want USA to make shit. I want USA made shit again. Tired of seeing other countries do so much better than American companies. Well, you can blame politicians for that. Like the same people. Well, not. I mean, Republicans love cheap labor. So do Democrats. Democrats love seeing the U.S. fail. Republicans love making money because they're addicted to cheap labor. How can you compete when you can have people that are literally enslaved and in jail making the vast majority of your shit for $0? You can then export it, and because that good is tariffed highly in your country, let's say butter. Like, did you know that the USA cannot export like butter, corn, and all this stuff to certain countries? Could you imagine if that is gone because of a tariff situation? Could you imagine the farmer not having to dump out all this excess milk because he met his quota, and then anything above and beyond that has to be dumped? Could you imagine all the corn, the excess of corn that is made in the center of the country, and that, let's say you can export that and the farmers should just keep making that shit because there's a massive demand elsewhere? Could you imagine if there was actual water in California and they could actually make avocados again instead of relying on avocados from Chile and Mexico? That's right. Guys, look up what happens with Haas avocados from Chile and Mexico versus the ones that used to be able to be made in California, but California decided to shut off the water for whatever reason and allow the U.S. to rely on Mexican Haas avocados versus Chilean avocados. And Chile provides the Haas avocados for China. China all of a sudden got a flavor for that. And Mexico was getting us the avocados. It's pretty fucked up when you actually go down the rabbit hole. And I hate the fact that I know that stuff because now you can't ignore it. Once you see how certain people move, you'll understand why Trump is doing what he's doing. He goes, you guys are fucking us. You guys are slowly gutting the country. And, the racing industry is also addicted to cheap stuff. Like, okay, metal, right? Where do some of these places source their metal? Like when you say, like certain countries have better metal, higher nickel content, whatever. So let's say gear sets, right? If you're a transmission person, gear sets, Billy Badass stuff, you could probably get it elsewhere if it's cheap enough. If it's too expensive in the US or whatever. So I've always wondered these parts that have metal in them, where they're made, how porous it is, the casting practices, all that stuff. The reason I say that is because when I worked as a millwright, we used to get these centrifugal pumps from India. And the volute had an 1/8 inch gasket surface. And the gasket surface, the gasket we used was a rubber gasket. So there was like an 18 thousandths clearance between the impeller and the volute to have efficiency. So we put a feeler gauge, 18 thousandths, then we cranked down on the gasket surface. And then one time I heard a pop. I go, what the hell's that pop? I backed it off and I noticed that the gasket surface lip broke under very light tension. And I saw the cast, and the cast was it was sand. I'm like, this is physical sand. I can actually see the porous cast. So I'm wondering at what point does it become like so cheap that it's dangerous to buy stuff that's overseas? Because a lot of these people that are in the middle, parts pushers, they don't source this stuff. They don't vet this stuff. They just say, this is what people want. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to be the middleman. I'm going to be the drop shipper. And those are the people that usually see a price increase sooner than later. Remember when Tom Selleck was caught stealing water from a hydrant to water his avocado fields in California? I do not. Sometimes you got to stock up on parts. Advanced Auto Parts closed stores in California. I grabbed 5 302 and 4.6 water pumps, and And at $275 a piece, since they were 90% clearance, are you planning on building a bunch of 4.6s and 302s? Turn that milk into government cheese. Diaz, that's insane. Why are Apple? Narda says, fuck, do we need Mexican avocados? Everyone in South Florida either has it. No. Haas. Oh my God, Nardi Mercado. Coño. Que bruto. Haas avocados are the ones you make for guac. Those big ass stupid avocados. Eso es mierda. That's the shit you put next to your rice. That's just arroz con chuleta, arroz con andule, chuleta, un tostón, and a big ass slice of avocado that's like from a tree in Miami. The Haas avocados are the little ones that you make guac from. The tender ones, not that big old piece of shit that grows in the trees in Miami. Get out of here with that shit. We import a lot of metal from the EU. Cali turned off the water because the salmon streams would be affected. LOL. MTD2 internals were sourced from China. Correct. Gertrag shit. BJ says, I can almost tell where the metal is from when welding it. Aluminum specifically. BJ, give me a hint, because I'm sure there's welders on the chat. I don't know. But based on what I saw, cast steel, or just cast metal, was very porous from most other countries, except stuff that was, made here. Stuff that was made here, if you're a machinist and you're on a lathe and you're cutting into it, it's pretty tough. But when it's powdery and it comes across, I'm like, who is doing this? Now, I think MT82 gears were probably made in China, and third gear specifically, because those things broke all the fucking time. My hometown was avocado capital of the world for 70 years till the Dems made the water so expensive. Farmers have to share water rights with big organizations, so the water dried up. You have to have money to get more water. In local farmers in Cali don't have money like that. Most slide. Did you know what Chile did? Chile, because they wanted to nationalize the avocado production, they nationalized and privatized water. They diverted streams that farmers relied on just to grow their crops, personal shit. They diverted it, put it in little reservoirs, because avocados like, I think, dry, high altitude areas. That's where Haas avocados thrive, in high, dry areas, but the trees got to get a ton of water. But the atmosphere has to be high and dry. So California is perfect for that, but then they turn off the water in California, and there goes that. If you guys do some digging and look in on Netflix or maybe other shows or other channels, Rotten, it is the food stuff where they talk about chocolate and wine and stuff. The sugar and avocado episodes are excellent. Cheap doesn't equal quality. Div Gonzalez says, have you seen the documentary, The Resnicks? Good overview of how California took over the water. Those Indian pumps come in the free gallon with a sidewalk of ice cream. What, a free gallon of that sidewalk ice cream? Bro, the sidewalk ice cream is unbelievable. If you guys don't know what the sidewalk ice cream is, just Google Indian sidewalk ice cream. Bro. Yeah, avocado para mojar, exactly. Same with limit torque actuators in nuclear plants. Oh, that dating channel Kyle Office all of a sudden got, technical. Those are made in America, but nuke plants cheap out and buy overseas actuators to run these plants, but are Pikachu face when they break. More impurities. Yes, look, I've seen so many bad casted parts, and it made me go, why are we buying this stuff? And it was, how can you compete? How can you compete when you have Chesterton pumps, Ingersoll brand pumps, Weinmann pumps, all made in the USA, versus a Chinese knockoff for a third of the price? And it's like disposable. Meaning, hell, I could buy 3 of these for the price of one Weinmann. But one thing I used to do is I used to go into these places and I'm like, you can't rebuild a Chinese pump. You have to literally throw it in the trash because the cast is so jacked up. Certain wear items are gone. The wear ring's not even replaceable. The brass on the wear ring, or the wear ring is made of brass, is like not even, the insert is not even properly seated in its housing, and you just have to throw it away. It's not worth it. For the price of rehabbing that pump, you can just get a whole nother pump. And I started seeing that in the early 2000s, and I'm like, bro, we're in deep shit. Tariff can eyeball his steel Tariff can eyeball where the steel is from before he welds it. Is there a replacement for the 3160? Is it the Magnum XL? Big Brizzle, read the room. Turvey's welding isn't as bad, just the Chinese metal makes it. Turvey's welding is bad. It's just bad Chinese metal that makes sense now. Got it. 508 Josh says, I use 99.998 pure aluminum in my evaporation process. They're going to start building plants here in the United States. What's it? Coyote Corp says, hey, Alex, I did a log on Shell 91 and pulled way better. I think I saw negative 4.31 degrees of knock. Okay, we could talk about that. So, because I have now become like, I don't want to say the heavy lifting, because I'm not the heavy lifter, but I have become like, there's a lot more volume, boosted volume coming my way, like almost all of it. Me and Junior just hammering it out until the other guys get caught up. So, I am blown away that people put anything but Shell and BP in their cars and watch this show for 5 years. I've watched the show for 5 years, and I'm like, what gas is in it? Sheets. And I'm like, go to your Shell and put some Shell in it and watch the knock sensors be happy. And he just had a similar issue. I said, hey, you know, what gas is in it? And typically, I don't care if you're going to go E85. Who cares? But I know you guys. You guys want to race on pump gas for some reason and E85. So I have to hammer out the pump gas calibration first, all the way to the end, and then, okay, it's done, then switch over to E85. So you have a 12-to-1 if it's a Gen 3, or an 11-to-1 compression motor with boost, at least 10 PSI going through it. You would think if you were to slap those parts on your car, and again, no indictment on you, Coyote Corp, that you would do some research and go, well, what does it take? Or do people go, Coyote, 10 pounds of boost, I'm gapping everybody in Miami. If the latter is the case, we're severely in trouble. And just based on the ticket system, because it's kind of a snapshot of the whole Coyote culture, we're cooked. Again, no indictment on you, Coyote Corp. This is a very normal thing that happens out there. But there's a reason this show exists. This show exists to try to educate you people so that you don't go through these issues. I have a whole fucking build series talking about octane, talking about what mods you need. If you have E85, get it on E85 ASAP. But people still don't listen, and I'm kind of blown away by that. $50. Matt 2011 GT says, to make up for Bondo's China money, who has Bondo sent something? Oh, do you do you raise Bondo Bird? What are you doing, Bondo Bird? Bondo, be careful. I thought you had to get a transmission by Pure and you were biking to work. Relax. Don't spend it all at once, says Bondo Bird. Do they eat that ice cream with their fingers like they do their rice? Michael says, I'm an aerospace welder. U.S. casted magnesium for Pratt & Whitney Canada jet engines. Good stuff, but I know what you're saying. 90% of cast aluminum is completely trash. It's so bad. 90% of the metal I see is from Thailand or Vietnam. I saw it on Indian stuff. Bro, it was absolutely shit. And you know what they were going in? They were going in power plants. Plants that rely on great equipment to run 24/7, 365. And there's redundancy. And if there is a shutdown, it's for a week. And then they're back rocking and rolling. Like, oh, okay, maybe not 365, but 358. Alex, if you heavy lift, maybe we can work out together. Hey, can someone verify something for me? I thought I heard this, and I want to make sure I'm right. Hold on. Is there a video where 1320 Kyle introduces a new guy to his team, and he calls him a virgin? Yes or no, guys? And if so, link and timestamp. Because if it's true, I have thoughts about that. But guys, let me know. And we'll play it live to see if it's true. And then I have plenty to say. Look at Bondo Bird. Look at Bondo Bird give me some money. You mean Pookie's food, fuel, and blunts? 87 isn't good for my 14 PSI Gen 3? Yeah, look, Exxon Devil Dog, Shell BP, Shell BP, Shell BP. I've seen good gas from Marathon, bad gas from Marathon. Good gas from Texaco, bad gas from Texaco. Good gas from Sunoco, bad gas from Sunoco. I rarely, if ever, see bad gas from Shell, based on experience. I go to BP, but it's Amoco gas. For pump gas, we use Sunoco around here. Got it. What's wrong with Circle K E85? Again, who the fuck said anything about E85? Maybe if my Whipple 24 for 50 would have been more fun with a Lund tune, but it wasn't going to wait tuning and brought a S-Plaid instead. Lesson learned. Damn. You had to go and get yourself a Plaid. Oh my God, there is something going on here where there is a, hey Bondo, I bet you won't throw 500 at it. You go broke. Be careful. Bondo had, you know how many pallets of non-Chinese rotors Bondo has to actually cut to make $50? I think he does piecework. Grant Wimbert says, BP and Shell, if last resort Sunoco, if ever you mention it in the first time, friends think I'm psycho and pay extra, but they put 87 on everything. Those Indian mechanics are more precise than wreath key cutting. I do sanitary food grade stainless. Ooh, I caught it. Welding, anything that touches your food, processes food, straight junk metal. Good job, self-snitching. Yeah, Alex, it was you. What's happening? Sam K says, I also want to see everything made in the USA again, but you better be ready to pay for American made. The days of excess will be over and we'll be better for it if everything is made here. I agree. I'm in the enviable position that I can afford things that are a little on the expensive side if the quality is there. I tend not to cheap out. I will never buy an on-3 kit. Don't you understand that? The addiction, I'm so happy. I hope Donald Trump does a direct 40% tariff on 3 stuff so people stop buying it. It is so bad. And I don't say it because it's the truth. See, I don't say it because I have a vendetta. I have no vendetta. I don't give a fuck about the guy. Boy, does he. Does he give a fuck about me? I'm just saying the truth, that your product is cheap and it sucks because it's cheap and it sucks. So I'm hoping that a tariff absolutely, directly affects that brand so that you guys stop buying it. You guys have like a PP2 Mustang, real pretty. Then you buy cheap knockoff wheels, cheap on 3 kit, own it for a year, hate the fact that now you're breathing in exhaust fumes because the pipe is literally coming out of the hood or on the side of the fender in your mouth. Why don't you just pipe that motherfucker right in your face? You know these guys that plumb their exhaust? There's a reason it's called exhaust. So it exits. No, you guys are making it an intake for your face. Could you imagine making a fender exit exhaust on your street car? You must be stupid. Why don't you just pipe the exhaust right back into the fucking car? Let's just get the process done a lot more quickly. As a virgin myself, that's embarrassing to get exposed, says Cody Lewis. How's the Escalade treating you? Thinking about getting a 6.2 Yukon with the AFM kind of worries me with the issues people have with it. I haven't had AFM issues, but the transmission, the 8-speed is clunky, but I don't give a fuck. I'm going to drive until it falls off. I see mail at my company from China, Australia, Brazil too, but there's a lot of companies like SpaceX requires U.S. steel only. Kyle says it on their Yellow Belly video. If he's saying that, he acting like Diddy. That's what I'm saying. I need a timestamp. How would it be able to push, how save, wow, douche machina. How save, did you mean how safe? How save would it be to push an SI50 GT500 on 93 pump gas, asking for a friend? Don't push anything on 93 octane. Don't push anything on 93 octane. I don't even know how to say it more clearly. Don't push anything on 93 octane. Calling your bluff, Bondo says Kill Shot Racing. I recently bought Shelly 85. Wait. Hit the like peasant says 6-speed RCSB. Bondo ain't senior, Alex. Got it. We have a station in town that sells VP 101 at the pump. That is nice. I like using Shell because Tony Stewart used Shell. That's funny too. What's wrong with people think? That's what people think of the American worker. Can you hit live on your shit? Because I don't know what you're referencing. How was the IATs on the black car cruising on the street after you mounted front ice tank? Ice water straight into the blower. Thinking of doing the same on my swap car. Like the Reyes. Do you think the ice stays ice after 5 minutes? An ice tank is only good until the ice makes its way through the system. 1 or 2 runs, or 1 run. Do you think ice is just made in perpetuity? Just like the ice box was just water. And then when I wanted to go racing, I put ice in it. And then I make 1 run. And that ice lasted 1 run. It wasn't like constantly cold. You know how ice tank works? Oh my God. But the owner of On 3 has a Richard Mille watch. That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know. Rich motherfuckers don't stunt. Poor motherfuckers do. Poor motherfuckers buy a Lambo. Rich motherfuckers don't buy anything. They just have the money in the bank. This coconut cringe still lives in my apartment. This coconut cringe cringe still lives in an apartment. I owned 2 houses before this. I have 5 cars. I have a ZR1, a GT500. I mean, I don't know. What do you got going on? I like how you think I've always lived in an apartment. I've owned 2 homes. What do I need a home for right now? Explain to me how me having a house is going to be good for me. Maybe it's good for you. Oh, he lives in a house. Okay, so he has a bunch of room he doesn't need. So, I don't know if you feel good about yourself because I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida, have 5 cars, a channel, work for Lund Racing. Look, man, whatever insecurities you got to work on that shit yourself. If I bought a house to appease you, how the fuck is that going to be good for me? I got bonus at work. Still shocked. You know who Lorna Shore is. Oh, come on. Oh, Bondo's Tariff. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. $100 just flying in. Just do it all in one shot. 500. Only thing I can find to introduce someone to Texas 2K as a virgin so far. On 3 times, not just the turbo kits. On 3 fuel system going for its 3rd time, basically not an on 3 system anymore. New pumps, new regulator, and new fuel level sender. Keep going, fellas, and give the kid money. 31 degrees of timing. Send it. And you're on my live stream. Think about that. You're making fun of someone and you're on their live stream. Who's on your live stream? Treat all my newest additions to my team like Diddy to Meek. Their cheeks are mine. Never will get over that. 16 GT PP has 350 manual throttle body, cold air, and a catback exhaust, 84,000 miles, full throttle plate. Feels like it's opening the opposite way, slowing down. Your thoughts? I don't know what the fuck you just said. How the fuck does it feel like it's slowing down when you go what? Are there any codes? Is traction control active? What do you mean the throttle blade is going the other way? It would just stop accelerating. Matt finna charge back. Exactly. Gotcha. That's what I was thinking about. You've preached not to run 93 on octane. You've preached not to run on 93 octane when trying to make good power. Absolutely. You guys that do this crazy thing about pushing it on 93, the only thing you can push on 93, in my opinion, is a fucking big block. 500 cubic inch, stupid stroke big block, make 900. This crazy notion that you should, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Know what I'm saying? Coconut cringe loser burrito. Exactly. What do you mean you didn't have an ice maker in the trunk? Try to do a transmission fluid change, maybe fix the clunk. I don't know what he's talking about. Couch no longer touching the wall. No need for a house when you have nice calves. You know, I think that's what people think they have on me. Meanwhile, like, these people are mortgaged to their top of their fucking heads. Top of their heads. Oh, I got a house. Who the fuck's that impressing? Every single guy I know that stunts how much money they got is broke. Every single guy that go to Miami. Every guy that has a Urus, every guy that has a Lambo, every guy that has a badass watch, and the best fit is underwater by a shitload. Like, it's not even close. And those guys all live in a house with each other as roommates, right? So I've always wondered, because I can get a house right now, but the house I want needs to have a big garage. And big garage homes are $1 million here. They're $1 million. Big garage, 3.2 with an acre, fucking $1 million in a decent neighborhood. Now, you want to live in a shithole? In a house? Yeah, you're still going to pay $600. So I'm like, I don't need it. I'll wait till the market calms down, maybe 2nd or 3rd year of Trump term. And then, I have the money down. I can just go ahead and get one right now. But I haven't found the house with a big garage, and I don't want to find a house without a big garage and then hope that I can have enough equity or whatever I want it already turnkey. So I've been looking the whole time. So if I can find a small house with a big garage, that'd be awesome. Can't find that either. Not a lot of people have a small house with a big garage. Usually the guy has the big garage in Florida, has a boat in it. And that means his house is good size and he has a family. So those houses are 4 3s, 3 2s. I don't need all that room. What the fuck do I need all that room for? I'm going to pay that much tax, that much property tax, that much to heat it. Well, sorry, cool it. If it has grass, heaven forbid the water bill, unless you have a well, but then now you got to have the filtration system. It's just like, I don't need that. What I need is what I have right now. Now, if it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I desperately need to expand, I'll rent a bay somewhere and do that stuff. I can do that. But the people that say, oh my God, he has an apartment podcast, I'm like, you're mortgaged up to here, or you live off of daddy's money, or you stunting that you have a home while you and I both know you're behind on the mortgage, you're behind on taxes, you got nothing but payments up the ass. You probably live off of the the drop shipping thought process. I'm like, stunt all you want. Chickens always come home to roost. Always come home to roost. Scott Andrews sending some money says, revise the the Lorna Shore is gay. I'm ready for Star Trek trivia. Star Trek trivia. Let's go. So, okay. The episode where there was a civil war happening in where the fuck Worf. What I forget the race he was. I'm blanking. What race is Worf? Guys, help me out here. I'm trying to remember, because once I remember the planet, I'll remember. I can say the story. What race was Worf? He is a Klingon. Okay, so there was a civil war going on with the Klingons. You know, the Duras and the whatever family were going at it, and the Cardassians were actually supplying weapons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up because you guys say that somebody else answered before me and you don't understand. My screen is the one that matters. So right here, I want to make sure I get this right. So the Cardassians, no, not the Cardassians, the what is the green ones? The Romulans. Thank you. The green ones, the bird of prey. The Romulans were supplying, I think, the Duras family with weapons, and then the Federation set up a blockade. What was the name of the ship that Data was commanding when he exposed the cloaked Romulan ships? What was the name of the ship that Data was in command of when he exposed that the Romulans were using the cloaking device to get through the blockade because he had some kind of emissions that he was noticing, and said, oh my God, Tyler H., you son of a bitch. Wow. Tyler H. Shit. Tyler H. fucking nailed it. Holy shit, you must be a Trekkie. I am blown away by that, Tyler H. Tyler, that that is seriously impressive, Tyler H. Oh, geez, he's $200. Sutherland, Tyler H. How did you figure that out so quickly? Good for you. USS Sutherland was the ship that Data was in command of when he exposed the Romulan supply ships, and they had to turn around, and the Duras, I think the Duras family, was it Duras? With the sisters and the young kid? But hey, Tyler H., you get yourself, and according to the poll, what giveaway item we were doing today, I said a set of iBox Pro Kit Springs or a 1320 Didio shirt. You get yourself a 1320 Didio's shirt. Congratulations. So hit me up, ydbt4live@gmail.com. Let me know the size, the color, and shirt, and I'll get you a shirt or two if you want. And congratulations. Good for you. Holy shit. The USS Sutherland fucking nailed it ASAP. And then Matt 20 GT just gave me $200 because apparently he has nothing better to do but just to throw money my way. I appreciate that very much. So someone who's saying that Lorna Shore was gay. I'm not a Lorna Shore fan, guys. I'll tell you how I knew Lorna Shore. A lot of you guys were like, you know, how the fuck does Alex know Lorna Shore? So I watched Drumeo, which is like a channel dedicated for people to do drum solos, and they recreate tracks or they put their own spin on a track that does not have a drum line in it. And I was watching that. And then that channel led me to watch another channel where a drummer critiques other drummers' solos, and Lorna Shore's drummer was in one of the videos. You know, just, I'm like, okay. So he was like in awe. But again, I don't know that any of that shit is good. It just sounds like he's just slamming drums. But obviously there's talent to the way he was doing it. So then he said, oh my God, of course he plays for Lorna Shore. He's this good. And I'm like, is that a thing? So then I went down that rabbit hole and started going, oh, this deathcore band is supposedly like really good. And they had like a trilogy where it was like love music, but like yelling in the mic. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then it was just in my head. So when I said Lorna Shore, apparently people like, oh my God, Alex knows who Lorna Shore is. I'm like, I don't really, I just go, you know, I remember certain things from rabbit holes that you know what rabbit hole I went down today that was interesting? How the Matrix is the story of Jesus Christ. I was like, wait, what? And then I went, fuck, I think they're right. I was watching, again, rabbit hole, Neil deGrasse Tyson talking to Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus, and they talked about how Matrix is the story of Jesus Christ. And I was like, fuck, I think they're right. Right? Cypher was Judas. Trinity was Mary Magdalene. I don't know who Morpheus was. Oh, John. So yeah, I was like, fuck, I think they're right. Drumeo is great. Drumeo is excellent. Esteban shouts out to Matt Twin GT for one-upping Senior. Yeah, is Senior here? I don't think Senior's here. Senior's driving. Senior had to go pick up some stuff locally. Flying Queen, USS Sutherland, USS Hathaway, Meek Mill, the Didions, a lot of people came in on the late side. So yeah, this guy, Tyler H, nailed it ASAP. Fuck, I was like, whoa. USS Sutherland, bam. Great. Getting that Gen 2 swap we talked about, getting my harness from PBH as well as the 2 valve, T56, but I don't know what to do to make the most power NA until I get the twin turbo set. By the way, recommendations for a twin set. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't chase any power. Set yourself up for success. 18 manifold, E85, some LU47s for now, or Predator 55s, you can find them. And live on E85 with headers or manifolds because you're going to go turbo, right? So turbos are going to come with their own manifolds. So I would definitely just kind of, don't try to go crazy NA if you're planning on going turbo sooner than later. Paul Pontius says, yo, drop a like and I'll catch a replay. F1320. I'm so hyped to hear you watch Drumeo. If you want to see the great drumming, check out Animals, AS Leaders, 2 guitars, and a drummer. Lead singer has done some good remakes of songs from Sleep Token. Okay. I thought that years ago. Yeah. He resurrected after he got shot by Smith. There's a lot of symbolism. And I was raised Catholic, so I'm like, shit, I think they're right. So it was very interesting to hear that. It's a great story. I can't understand people that don't watch The Matrix and have it not affect them in a certain way, unless they don't understand what's happening. I watched The Matrix when I was in my early 20s. So my brain was starting to develop, and I'm like, fuck, this thing it's a great story. It's a wonderful story. So then I watch it again and again, and there's symbolism, great storytelling. It goes off the beaten path a little bit, but the first Matrix is, if it's on, I gotta watch it. Like if it's on FX or TBS on a Sunday, like I gotta watch the rest of this. If it's on Netflix, forget it. I'm gonna watch it because it's like perfect. It's perfect. It's the perfect movie. There's very I'm a movie guy. Love movies. But movies are shit nowadays. So movies I gravitate towards that I can watch over and over are Matrix 1 and 3. Two's a lot of talking, but 1 and 3 are awesome, in my opinion. Alita, Battle Angel, unbelievable movie. Just great story. Elysium, great movie. What's the one where there's cities that are roaming the earth and that consume other cities? Mortal Engines. Fucking unbelievable movie. Mortal Engines. All of the Batman trilogy with I was watching it this morning. I was just put it on and I was watching the Joker one. I was like, holy shit, with fuck, I'm blanking on a lot of the stuff. That's a lot of shit to remember. Christopher Nolan's the Batman Christopher Nolan ones I'll watch. Inception. Anything Christopher Nolan. I did not like Tenet. I think Tenet was shit, and I think he really fucked up with Tenet because I even think he got confused making Tenet. People who died are reporting it's still people who did are reporting it still isn't worth it. What are you talking about? So did anyone take advantage of the Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack $150 a month leases? The Dodge Daytona outsold the Supra. I repeat, the Dodge Daytona, as shitty as it is, outsold the new Supra. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? But I never looked at the Supra and thought it was a good car. I looked at that car and I hated it. I hated how it looked. I don't like how it looks at all. Can it go fast? Absolutely. But the moment the new Supra came out, I thought, this is whack shit. But people bought it, knowing that it was a BMW. Okay, cool. I wasn't surprised that it outsold it. Did you celebrate First Contact Day on Saturday? Was watching Sunday's show before this one. Belak getting them heads done so he can keep the boat moving to push some weight. Matt 12T says, I would never want up senior without him. We don't have Alex. Excuse me? Without senior, you don't have me? You had me before you had senior. You had me before I was at Lund Racing. What the fuck are you talking about? This show superseded anything. I had this, not the show, but I had a YouTube channel before I was a tuner. But I know where my bread gets buttered on my regular shit, but in terms of this show's all me. Stop it. Don't. That'll trigger the fuck out of me. People saying that if it wasn't for London, I wouldn't have this show. If anything, if it wasn't for VMP, I wouldn't have this show. Because Carrie and had me and Joe on tuning Tuesdays or tuning something like that, tuning Wednesday or whatever it was. So don't be talking that shit. How dare you? Christian Bale and Heath Ledger. It wasn't me. It was one on our man, Christian Bale. Sabicho. Nardi says, story of YOLO like the story of Jesus. ML was Judas. Jared was Mary Magdalene. And BK was Jabba the Hutt. Jay Walker. It doesn't matter the why. It's the story. The Supra. Okay. Can you use a Supra as much as you can use a Charger? Daytona, Scat Pack, whatever the fuck it's called. It's a bigger car. It's more practical. 0 to 60 in decent time is the 50 electric version. The Supra is, if I'm not mistaken, a 2-seater in full stop. Like, in terms of usability. Neil deGrasse Tyson interviews Lawrence Fishburne and they talk about The Matrix is pretty good. It's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. Gladiator 2 was better than most movies. Not amazing, but decent shit compared to the original. That was classic. Tyler H said email. Thank you so much, sir. Congratulations on the Sutherland. Bro, like, phenomenal. Like, I'm genuinely impressed that you knew the USS Sutherland. Then Alex, I got a Supra, says Alexi Gomez. Black Hawk Down is probably the greatest war film. I did not like. No, the greatest war film is Saving Private Ryan for me. How the fuck do I watch Star Trek? There's a shit ton. The Next Generation. You only watch Star Trek The Next Generation. All the others are shit. Tuning Tuesday. That's right. Tuning Tuesday and Carrie. Big rack. Oof. What a rack on that woman. I knew I'd get the YOLO trigger with that. You're the best. Henry KC says, the movie The Book of Eli is a good apocalypse movie if you're into those. I didn't like The Book of Eli because I didn't like the fact that he was blind, right? In the Book of Eli, the movie, he was blind the whole time. And I'm like, no, some of the shit he did obviously required vision. And I went back to watch it. I'm like, wait a minute, he's blind? Went back and I'm like, nah. Hell, Equalizer 3 is better than the Book of Eli. But hey, thanks for the money, Matt. I mean, you've given me $500 today, so I appreciate you very much. This is going to be a big spike in earnings. It's going to go, shh, maybe I can buy that house now. Oh, I see what's going on. Matt got a raise. Got it. That's not, oh, Carlito's Way. Forget it. Look. Okay. Top 3 movies for me. Top 3 that I have to watch. And they're not what you think they are. Top 3 movies. Awakenings. Believe it or not, Awakenings is a movie. If it's on, I'm watching it with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. Wonderful movie. Carlito's Way touches my heart. It's literally the story of my dad, right? Dad, gangster, washed up gangster, blah, blah, blah. And Matrix 1. Those are my top 3 movies. Awakenings, not in that order, but you can, swap them around, whatever. But Carlito's Way, Awakenings, watch Awakenings. You will cry. And the Matrix, first Matrix. Dunkirk was pretty accurate. Awesome. Thanks, Theo. Getting up on game. You got it. Kyle Loft. What's it say here about Kyle Loftus? Oh my God. The comments go crazy. Kyle Loftus watches Saving Ryan's Privates. Wasn't that an actual porn? Where's Carrie now? I think she works for an insurance company. Best war movie is The Hurt Locker, and there's no debating. No, Hurt Locker's shit. Favorite movies made in recent years. So let's, okay, so we're talking like the last 5? Fuck, the last 5? Last 5 years? A good movie? You're going to have to make me think on that one. I'll think about that. Movies made in the last 5 years that I thought were good. See, Interstellar's older, though. Interstellar's like 10 years old. 2014. Yeah, it's 11 years old. Yeah. Bronx Tale, the saddest thing is wasted talent. Saving Private Ryan is good, but Hacksaw Ridge is just so good to me. I grew up on reruns of Next Generation on Sci-Fi. Yeah, me too. I grew up on, actually, no, I watched the original episodes when they aired because I'm old. Deep Space Nine and Voyager were okay, but The Next Generation is the best by far. I'm sorry, Alex. I thought you were going to say I didn't like the Book of Eli because he was black. It's Denzel Washington. How can you not like Denzel Washington? I didn't like the fact that he was blind. He thought I was going to say black. Was going to say Carlito's Way. Listening too hard. Yeah, too hard. Top 3. Heat was a good movie. Alex, would you rather buy a Gen 450 or the new Supra? So, okay, that's enough of that. That is painful. After a while, that just hurts. So, would I buy a Gen 450 or the new Supra? Out of those two, unfortunately, the Gen 450, the Supra is not a car for me. Like, when I get in a Dodge Challenger, I'm not a big guy, like massive, but I'm like, there's a lot of me. Like, when you meet me, you're like, look, I met someone the other day and they're like, oh, you don't look that tall. And the moment I met them, they're like, oh, there's like a lot of you. Not that I'm tall. It's just, there's just a lot of me. Like I shake your hands and I got big paws and I'm just like, I'm just kind of like a not bigger dude, but I'm bigger than most. So I don't think I would fit in an A90 Supra. Or is it an A90? I don't even fit in a Fox body anymore. Like I look like a absolute ogre in a Fox body. I look like I barely fit in it. So it would be a Gen 4 because I don't like how the Supra looks. I'll be honest. I highly dislike how the Supra looks. It is not a good looking car for me personally. It was the power of God helping him to do what he did, even though he was blind. He lost God's favor when he let someone else touch the book, which he was explicitly told not to do. I didn't like it. I just did not like it. Well, Eli was blind, so he didn't know he was black, says Jay Walker. Jesus Christ. I can't believe I read that. All Quiet on the Western Front is one of my favorites. I always thought the movie Chef was good. Matrix Reloaded was better than Matrix Revolutions. No. No. Wait, Reloaded? Revolutions? You mean 4? Dude, I can't believe they made another Matrix. I was mind blown that they attempted to make another Matrix. I'm like, leave it, please leave it alone. Muscle in Imports says, what do you think about the last Matrix they made recently? No, it was shit. It was shit. It was so bad. They should have left it alone. Gran Torino is about as new of a movie as I can get into. The older movies just seem to hit better. Gran Torino, $1 Million Baby was sad, but it was good. That girl's ass was unbelievable. I forget her name. She got a horse face though, right? What's her name? $1 Million Baby actress. $1 Million Baby. Oh, but it's a song too. Baby movie. What's her name? Is it Jennifer something? Oh, Hilary Swank. Her ass in that movie. If you go back and watch $1 Million Baby, I don't know what the hell she did, what kind of workout she did. Her ass was bounce a quarter off the type of that fucking. I'm like, bing, whoa, could not believe her ass in $1 Million Baby, and that's the reason I watch it. I watch it just to look at her ass. Is the new Supra just a Z4? Pretty much. Dio, just tuning in, says Rocky. Got done working on some overhead line work. I'll catch a replay soon as it's available. 1917 was decent. War movie. Saw it. Did not like it. Sorry. Did not like it. Not that they're bad, but certain movies like capture your imagination. Ready Player One was awesome. Ready Player One was fucking excellent. Alita Battle Angel, Ready Player One, and Mortal Engines are those sci-fi movies that are like mostly CGI that are phenomenal movies. I don't know why Mortal Engines caught my attention. For whatever reason, I saw the preview and I had to go see the movie and I was just blown away by it. Yeah, there was a fourth Matrix. It was awful. It's funny talking about TradeWorks just landed a pad mount transformer and it's made in Mexico. Crazy as fuck. Torino was good. Did you like Constantine? Constantine was good. And most of the... Ready for a controversial take? I think all the John Wick movies are shit. The John Wick movies are shit. I get it. You're a gun fan. I get it. You're a karate fan. I get it. You're an action fan. The movie was absolutely shit. It was, some guy kills his dog. He goes killing a bunch of people. And then there's like, and then they didn't think it was going to be a hit. So then they had to make up bullshit. Like there's this like other world where you go to a hotel to check in and you can't kill motherfuckers at that. Shut the fuck. Oh my God. It was so trash. I could not believe people liked these movies. I'm like, I watched all of them and I'm like, this one was shit. No way they'll make another one. Well, son of a bitch, they made another one. And I'm like, that was even shittier. Then they made another one, even more shit. And then the last one, I think, you know, you're like, all right, he's finally fucking dead, right? Nope. He somehow is alive because of some... oh my God, this is so stupid. It's cliche. It's stupid. It's gun shit. Like, whack. He said 3 words the whole movie. 3 words. I think he got paid $10 million a fucking word. Alita Battle Angel and Ready Player One are amazing. They really are. Chronicles of Riddick is good. I hate that guy. Chronicles of Riddick is a movie I can watch over and over and over. That is a wonderful movie with the necromongers. He's a necromonger? No, the other ones. He is a Furian, and the necromongers are led by a guy who's like half here and half in another world. Like he phases in and out of realities. Bro, that is a very good movie. That is an underrated movie. I don't know how we're talking about movies. But Chronicles of Riddick is very underrated, and I like it very much. Then they tried to expand on it, and it was shit. The Accountant is solid. The Accountant is solid. The Accountant, he's actually very good. And wasn't John Wick's Mustang the one you hate too? I hate 60s Mustangs. I'm like, who cares? But Alex, what do you think about the Eleanor? It's shit. What? Yeah, it's shit. It's shit. I don't like the Eleanor style 60s. I think they're shit. Stupid. But you think an 85 Mustang is better? Yes. A notchback 4i? with 28 10.5s in the back, 15 by 10 wheel with 6.5-inch back spacing, and a 17 by 4.5 front with a fucking 900 horsepower Coyote in the bitch. Oh yeah, all day. John Wick was popcorn for the brain, delicious popcorn. Oh my god, The Town was a good movie. I don't like superhero movies to say they're good movies, right? Like, I watched X-Men growing up, the cartoon, and I'm like, when are they gonna make an X-Men with Sentinels? And then they made Days of Future Past, I think. No. The one with the Sentinels was a later version. It was so bad. I hated it. Salt is a good movie. No, it's not. Pitch Black was better. The Gentleman's a great movie. That's Ben Affleck's best movie. Crimson Tide with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington about the submarine shit. Hunt for Red October, bro. God damn it. Hunt for Red October is wonderful. If you ever watch Hunt for Red October, that's another movie that's done extremely well. Patriot Games. And what's the one? Clear and Present Danger? All those Harrison Ford movies where he was like a CIA agent or something like that. Brother, I don't know how we ended up here talking about movies. 90% of movies made after 2018-ish are trash. Most of the movies are now just remakes and something, but they fuck it up. There's no original movies. You would watch more than one in a week. X-Men, you mean Mustang Lifestyle, Nate Ryder? Nice. Original Spider-Man, can't lie, that one's kind of good. Kyle Blows Alex in his GT500 is a great movie. Wow, says that dating channel Kyle Loftus. Oh, fuck. This motherfucker, I love it. Full Metal Jacket is also very good. Crimson Tide is so underrated. Thoughts on the new Nismo Z? So let's Nismo Z and A90 Supra. Because I think these are competitors. So I don't like either car all that much. I think they're, it's we're getting to that age where all the cars are starting to look the same. You know what I mean? And I do like this color combo very much, but I don't like the car. I think the car is missing something. I don't know what it is, but it's missing something. I actually like the older ones better, the 370s. Believe it or not, 370Z. I think was a 370Z. Oh, Jesus Christ. 70Z. What year were the older 370Zs? Jesus Christ, Alex. Images. The ones where, these, call me crazy. I like these. Would I buy one? Not just no. Fuck no. But out of all the Zs that came out, the older ones that had a GTR-ish front end were ones that I thought were kind of cool. Right? I think so. I'm not 100%. They kind of all look the same. They kind of all blend in and look like the same thing. But the one where DK, the Drift King, drove around Japan, DK, that's the one I would, gravitate towards. It's literally like Puerto Ricans graduate when they get like a Infinity something, or the other way around, right? Do they go from that to an Infinity? I don't know. They all sound like, they sound pretty good. Just not a fan of any of those two-seater Jap cars. Just not a fan. Only seen 3 Nismo Zs ever since they released. Got my dark horse. Now, Amory says, RC Connection became a dark horse member. Nice. Super all the way. Law-abiding citizen. I like the 240 better. The 370Z and the new Z are basically the same car. It's like SI50, S650. Gotcha. I guess maybe it's just the body style that I like the previous gen. But you can actually tune those cars. There's a guy that tunes those cars, goes by the name of Sonic or something. Sonic Tuned. I just watch him on Instagram and going 10s in it. I mean, whatever. Like, you can tune them. Still can't tune a Mustang. Unbelievable. That's a 350. Gotcha, 350. I thought it was a 370. My bad. I don't know shit about those cars, and I don't pretend to. I stay in my lane when it comes to those cars, so I'm not going to fuck with it. Craig Wall says, what's your thoughts on the older Tarantino movies, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown? Pulp Fiction, obviously, is excellent. Jackie Brown, not a fan. Inglourious Bastards was decent. Tarantino movie. And I think that's it. I just don't like the his style all that much. Christopher Nolan cannot make a bad movie except for Tenet. Tenet was just so bad. Can anyone get through Tenet? Please go watch Tenet. Tenet, I think. Tenet. Please try to watch Tenet. And you're going to be like, I can't get through this motherfucker at all. I'm blown away that this was like a thing. And I'm like, I was so bored. And I think he just overthought this movie. And let's be honest, the main character wasn't like, you don't gravitate towards him. You don't care about him. You know, it's just like, it doesn't matter. So I don't know. It's just Christopher Nolan, I think, just kind of, he was due for a dud. Actually, the other movie that is a bit of a underrated is Arrival, with that hot chick with with what's her name? She's hot. I don't know why, but I like this redheaded chick. I like redheads. I'm a redhead fan. We'll stay a little late. It's all good. Arrival cast. Arrival is a great movie because it's written well. Amy Adams. Oh my God, what I would do to her. Oh man, I was just bury it raw. Get you pregnant. Whatever you want. I mean, obviously she's paying me, brother. This girl can get it. She's 50. Nah, that bag just dried up. Anyway, like Arrival's great, where aliens land and she has to decipher their language, and deciphering the language allows her to travel through time. Deciphering the language allows her to travel through time. So, time travel movies, I'm in. Back to the Future, Terminator, all that shit, I'm in. No questions asked. Let's do it. Let's watch the whole fucking thing. I love time travel shit. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. So we talked about what companies are doing in terms of what's happening with the tariffs. We basically said that people that seem to have a knee-jerk reaction to the tariffs usually don't have a supply. And we played a clip of a Ford executive talking about the fact that he has a big supply to get rid of before tariffs affect people, meaning they're not going to gouge the customer with cars that are on the lot that were made pre-tariff with new tariffs that are potentially going to hit their market. And then parts companies, you started to see a slightly panicky behavior when it comes to these tariffs because they don't stock anything and they're just going to shoot prices up. And a lot of the people that don't stock products or don't make products in the USA tend to be a little knee-jerk reaction-y when it comes to that stuff. Then we talked a little shit about everything, and then we ended up talking about our favorite movies for the last 20 minutes or so, which I like. These shows flow nicely. It makes it fun. We held on to 400 people the whole chat. Well, that's a good thing. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Thursday, 8 p.m. Talk about whatever, mostly cars. That's what I like to do. But if we kind of stem off into some movie shit, I'm cool with that too. It's a fun time. It's a good time to hang out with the people here, talk about different subject matters. Have a good rest of your week. I'll see you guys on Thursday for YDBT Daily. We'll hang out then. And Tyler H won the shirt, so I'm going to hit him up over email, see what kind of shirt he wants. He knew the USS Sutherland in about 2 seconds, which blew me away on the trivia question. Have a good rest of your night, guys. I'll see you guys on Thursday, 8 p.m. See ya. Bye.